So today's chapters are chapters 23 through 26. Real quick recap on chapters 20 to 22. Piper comes back to Alcatraz, where she quickly gets the kids into this new idea of getting on the boat when supposedly Al Capone's mom is going to be on her way to Alcatraz. And they do get on the boat together, and Al Capone's mom is there, and they sit right next to her. And Teresa brings baby Rocky, who is screaming and crying the whole time, and Al Capone's mom calms down baby Rocky by rocking him. When they get to the island, she gets searched for a weapon because the metal detector went off, and she gets very embarrassed by the whole process, and she leaves immediately and does not go and see her son. All right, so chapters 23 through 26 today. Chapter 23, She's Not Cute. Tuesday, April 2nd, 1935. In English class, Miss Bent pairs Scout and me together for a journalism project, and just like that, we're friends again. We start talking about who we think will win the World Series this year, and the next thing I know, he's put a game together at lunch. He doesn't make a big deal out of it, neither do I. If it weren't for the fact that my throwing arm is rusty and my timing stinks, I would be happy. But what do I expect? All I've done for the past 2 months is bowl. Then on the way back to class, Scout says, I'll trade you my extra glove for one of those convict baseballs. You find one of them yet? Not exactly. Piper said they just come sailing over the wall. He does a whistling imitation of a ball in flight. She made it sound like everyone on Alcatraz has one. When you talk to Piper anyway? I ask as I stop to tie my shoes. Scout waits for me. Sometimes we talk in French class. How come you don't want to look for one? I don't know. I heave my book bag over my shoulder and walk on. She said maybe she could get me one. Maybe, Scout says. I stop and stare at him. How come you're so friendly with her all of a sudden? He shrugs. Kinda cute, don't you think? No, I say. Scout doesn't say anything. He throws his glove in the air and catches it. She's not cute. I glare at him. Fine, she's not cute. What are you so ticked off about anyway? I'm the one who's supposed to be sore, you know. I kick at the grass. I don't blame you for being burned up. Piper said your sister is different. She said nobody ever watches her but you. He looks quick at me and then away. I shrug. Look, I'd just like to have one of those baseballs, he says. They look just like any other baseball. Oh, so you do have one? No, I don't. This comes out louder than I mean to. I've seen Jimmy's, that's all. Well, if they're laying around, I thought you could pick one up for me, you know, if we're friends. Of course we're friends, I say. Sure, I'll find you one. I smile at him. In history class, my teacher, Mr. Berger, begins discussing Louisiana Purchase, and I sit and stew. It's not Scout I'm thinking about, though. It's Scout and Piper. Did they sit next to each other in French class? How come I haven't heard about this before? I knew they were friendly, but I didn't know they were that friendly. I think about this through history and all of math class. I think about it all the way home. When my mother leaves, I unroll the sleeves of my shirt, button them at the cuffs, and I grab Natalie's jacket. There's poison oak on this island, and I don't want us to get it. Okay, Nat, let's go. I open the door, all business today. I head up the stairs, Nat scuffing along behind me, pulling at her sweater like her shirt sleeve is caught up inside. Hey, Nat, I say, doubling back so I'm walking next to her. As soon as I do, she stops dead in her tracks and refuses to move forward until I go first. Nat is a single-file girl. What do you think of Mrs. Kelly, I ask. I'm walking around to the windy west side of the island now, craning my neck back to hear what she says. 9868, Natalie answers. 9868, what does that mean? Oh yes, that's Mrs. Kelly's address. Yes, exactly, 9868. No buttons, Missy, Natalie says. I look down at the water. There are almost waves today, like the bay is trying very hard to be the ocean. Right, I know, she won't let you play with your buttons. But there's something odd about the way Nat says no buttons. Now buttons, Missy, Natalie tries again, and this time I hear it. She's doing an imitation of the way Mrs. Kelly talks. Natalie has made a joke. It's the funniest thing I've heard. For a second, I think I see Natalie smile too, or maybe I've just imagined it. It's that quick. I want to grab Natalie, hold her here with me, keep her from going down again. I just love talking to her this way. And then the thought occurs to me, is Mrs. Kelly helping? So Nat, I say like I would to a normal sister, what would you think about two people who talk all the time in French class? Two people talk, she says. Yeah, exactly. She stops and looks at me, right at me. Then it's almost as if she shrugs. Okay, so I'm probably wrong, but I like thinking this, even if it's not true. Okay, Nat, I say, eyeing the rec yard wall through the chain link fence and straight up the hill from us. We're looking for a baseball. I wait for the goals to quiet down. You know, like mine, right? A line drive down the center. I smile. That's right. We look for the baseball in the bushes here. Natalie looked for baseball, I say. Natalie looks up in the sky as if it's going to fall from there. Well, not exactly. You look down here. I poke around in the bushes, showing her what I want her to do. Natalie runs her tongue over her lip, as if this takes all the concentration she has. Okay, follow me. I shimmy up the steep hill sideways and begin picking through the thicket of bushes. I try to walk in a pattern. Natalie likes patterns. Maybe she'll follow along. But it's difficult to keep to it because the bushes are thick. I look up the yard wall again. My dad said the baseball diamond is in the corner. I scramble on through the underbrush. Natalie isn't following. She's sitting down on the side of the hill with a pile of pebbles. She's setting them up, almost like an abacus. Sorry. I wonder what she's doing. It seems complicated, but it looks like it's more fun than getting scratched by bushes looking for a baseball. Sometimes Natalie is saner than I am. I finish searching one patch and look up at the chain link fence that separates where I'm allowed to go from where I'm not. My eyes follow the chain link all the way up to where it hits the cement yard wall. I can see the guard tower now, but I don't think the guard can see me. I look down at Natalie. She's totally absorbed in her stones. I don't want Piper to find a ball for Scout. I don't know why, but I don't. I renew my search, looking inside every bush, kicking aside the leaves underneath. I'm right up against the chain link fence now. The rec yard wall is solid cement, maybe 16 feet high. But right where the chain link meets the cement wall, I see a gap. The hillside was crumbled away, leaving a space between the fence and the mountain. Is this new? Did the mountain erode in all the rain? My heart beats loud in my throat. I look down at Natalie. She hasn't moved a muscle. I won't be able to see her once I get up there, but I know better than to try to move her once she's all set up. I'll just make it quick, that's all. A couple of seconds to look. 1 minute, that will be enough. A ball could be sitting right here, or right there, out in the open, just waiting for me. I know this is a lousy idea, but it doesn't matter. A gap in the fence is a magnet. It just is. Chapter 24, Like a Regular Sister. Same day, Tuesday, April 2nd, 1935. It takes me longer than I thought it would to get to the gap. The hill is steep and slippery with rocks and shale, land sliding down as I go up, but the guard can't see me here. A chink in the hill blocks his view. When I get to the hole in the fence, I wonder if I'll fit. The only way to tell if a ball is there is to look under the bushes, and I can't do that from over here. But what if I get stuck under the fence? What will I do? I wish I could see Natalie. I should just go back and forget about this. But then I spot a little glimmer of grayish-whitish something resting on a rock. A baseball? I search for a stick to poke under the fence to see if I can roll the ball my way. It's not close enough. Only way to find out is to go under. I sit down with a bump and stick my feet through. I scoot forward and get my knees under. This is taking too long. I have to check on Natalie. I lose my nerve and scoot back. But then I remember how hard it was getting up here. It'll take twice as long if I have to go back to see her and then climb the shale slide again. Didn't my mom say I should treat Natalie like a regular sister? I wouldn't go and check on a regular sister, that's for sure. I stick my legs under again. Now I'm up to my waist. The zigzag chain link at the bottom pokes into my belly, but I wiggle through. The only problem now is my big shoulders. Football shoulders, my Uncle Dean calls them. I wiggle, inch, turn my head, and curl under. Now I race for the ball, but I slow down as I get close. My throat gets tight. This is not a ball. It's just a piece of cardboard. I turn it over. The back says, Circle Janet T. Janet Trixel. It's a project from the kindergarten class. I'm so angry I want to tear the circle up, but I don't. I shove it in my pocket. Then I think of Natalie. Cut your losses, I hear my dad say. I'm going straight back to her. Only I just have to peek one or two more places. It kills me to have risked all of this for nothing. Piper will get a ball for Scout, and he'll think I didn't even try. Scout and Piper. Piper and Scout. But all I find is dirt, sticks, stones, leaves. Now I feel like a real chump. I scoot myself back under, scratching my hand on the fence. At least I don't get stuck, I tell myself as the count bell rings. The little hairs along my spine stand up. I should never have left Natalie alone here. When it's really foggy, they don't let the cons work. Is it that foggy today? I slide down the hillside as fast as I can, and there she is, her blonde, brown head bent over her rocks. She's sorting them. Of course she is. Everything is fine. I blow air out in a great big sigh. I'm standing by Natalie now. She doesn't look up. Hey, Nat, everything okay here? You just been playing your game, right? 105, she says. 105, I asked, trying to catch my breath as the foghorns sound again. Is that how many rocks you have? Wow, that's a lot. I hope she doesn't plan on lugging 105 rocks home. I look closer. She has 30, maybe 40. Nowhere near 105 of them. I look up at the birds. There are 15 or so. Still a big flock. Could have landed here while I was up there. She could have counted 105 birds. Sure, easy. Lots of birds, huh? 105, wow, I say. She looks up from her rocks. I see by the slight motion of her head that she's counting the birds down by the water. Bad moose, she says. 13. 13 now, 105 before. They come and go, don't they, Natalie? 13. She's irritated now, like I'm being incredibly stupid. Natalie, count birds 13. All right, I say. 13. Chapter 25, My Gap. Wednesday, April 24th, 1935. Every day at school now, I play baseball with Scout at lunch, and though he hasn't said anything else about the convict baseballs, I know he's thinking about it. I know because Piper tells me. She asked me if I'm going to get Scout a ball. She asked more than once. Both times I pretend I don't hear, but Natalie and I hunt every day. I draw diagrams of the arcs a ball might take from inside the prison wall to the free space outside. Nat and I look for 3 days, straight near the northeast point by the water tower. I feel like I work the place over with a pick and axe, but nothing. It's not like Nat really helps me, but she doesn't get in my way either. She sits and counts rocks or sticks or sometimes birds. I always make sure to park her right in the center of where I want to look so I can keep an eye on her. We're getting along, Nat and I. It's peaceful to spend time with her out here. Sometimes I even tell her stuff that's bothering me. I don't know if she understands, but she's quiet like she hears. The other place I always go is the Gap. Last night, I dreamt Scout found the Gap. It's my Gap. The thought of Scout worming his way through my hole in my fence and finding my ball makes me nuts. This afternoon, the teachers have a meeting, so we get out of school an hour early. I hope my mother doesn't know this, but when I get home, I see she does. She has an errand to run in the city. She's ready to leave, just like always. As soon as she's gone, I head straight for the Gap with Natalie toe stubbing along behind me. She wears a green dress with puffed sleeves and some kind of pucker stitching across the top. It's a dress a 10-year-old should wear. Natalie looks silly in it. She's too old. We cut through the parade grounds where Annie, who had the day off from school, and Teresa are huddled over something. Hey, Annie says, where have you been? Want to toss the ball around? I can't now, I say. Where are you going? Teresa glances up from the card she's working on. Machine Gun Kelly, it says. Oh, looking for a convict baseball, I say. Annie's almost white eyebrows raised. I thought you didn't care about that. Well, I didn't, but now I do. Just, kind of, I say. For Piper? Annie asks, the corner of her mouth twitching like she's fighting a smile. For me, I shoot back at her. You'll never find one over there, but go ahead, Annie says. I look hard at her. Where will I find one? Beats me. All I know is the balls don't go over very often, Annie says. How'd you get one? I ask. My dad got it for me. Is that how Piper got hers? I don't know, Annie says. Can I come? Teresa asks. I thought you wanted to finish, Annie says. Teresa looks at me, then Annie. She chews her bottom lip. You can go if you want, Annie tells her. Teresa shakes her head. We have to finish, she says. If you feel like playing later, Annie nods to me. Sure, I say as Natalie and I head down the steps. Above us, 6 or 7 birds track her. I swear every bird on the island knows Natalie. We stop near the greenhouse, below the southwest corner of the rec yard wall. We've got this down to a system, Natalie and I. In some ways, she's very predictable, more like a clock than a human being. I set her up with a big pile of rocks, and she's fine. It's a warm, clear spring day. I feel happy as if I'm on the verge of something wonderful. No matter what Annie says, I'm going to find a baseball today. I even start whistling, Take Me Out to the ball game. When we get to the spot by the west end, I notice the terraces. They are full of new pink, yellow, and bright purple garden flowers growing in neat rows across the water. I look to see how they're doing on the Golden Gate Bridge today. Progress is slow. It always looks the same. The Bay Bridge, too, though I can't see it from here. Natalie breaks her graham cracker sandwiches carefully along the dotted lines, eats half and throws the other half to the birds. Then she gets busy gathering her stones. She's very diligent about this, like it's her job. I start up the hill. When I get to the gap in the fence, I kick more of the hill away before I try to fit through. Why didn't I think of this before? Okay, I'm in. Let's be smart, Moose, I tell myself. I'll begin at the corner and search every square inch until I get to the other. Slowly, carefully, I look under each bush, marking my progress so I don't get confused about which bushes I've checked and which I haven't. Take your time, I say out loud. Keep your mind on business. For a while, everything goes okay, but then I start getting discouraged. No baseball. It's not fair. I'm doing everything right. I look again and again and again. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Maybe there just aren't any more balls out here, I think for the 100th time. Maybe this is all a big fat waste of time. I scoot back under the fence too fast this time and rip the back of my shirt. Then I slide back down the shale to the halfway spot. The goal is pecking at the dirt, scouting for leftover graham cracker crumbs. 5 piles of stones are neatly sorted by size. But Natalie? Where is Natalie? Chapter 26, Convict Baseball. Same day, Wednesday, April 24th, 1935. Natalie, my mouth tries to say, but my throat is closed up tight. No sound comes out. I run down, my arms flying helter-skelter, the shale sliding. She has to be here. Maybe she's out scouting for more stones. That's it. I look down by the small rocky beach. A crab scuttles out from under a rock. Men on a nearby ferry are laughing. The sound is eerily loud, though the boat is far away. She isn't there. Over by the red berry bushes. No. Back by the greenhouse? No. Which way do I go? I stop and listen. A voice. Sounds. Behind me. I spin and run toward the voice. Natalie? I crash the thicket, and then I see her. Natalie, sitting on a rock with someone. A man. He's wearing a denim shirt and denim pants. A con. Natalie is sitting with a con. The scream is stuck in my throat, choking me. Don't look away. Don't blink. Do not blink. The con is smiling. He's missing a front tooth. There are dark greased comb marks in his hair. I wonder about this. Inmates aren't allowed hair pomade. Suddenly this seems very important. Why is he wearing pomade on his hair? Maybe he isn't a con. Please, God, don't let him be a con. I haven't even looked at Natalie. I'm afraid to take my eyes off of the guy in the denim shirt. I think somehow I can protect her this way. But now I watch her too. She's smiling. Sometimes Nat looks concerned or sad or raging mad. The best she ever looks is interested. But here is my sister, Natalie Flanagan, looking happy. Hey, Moose. The con's voice is scratchy, an octave too high, like a girl's almost. You want this? He reaches inside the coat draped over his leg. He has a gun. I can't breathe. He's going to shoot. But then I see. Information seeps into my brain. It isn't a gun. It's a baseball. Suddenly my throat opens up. Get away. Get the heck away. Go. Go. That's my sister. Get away from her. I scream as the 4 o'clock count whistle blows. The con jumps and Natalie's smile, like some kind of rare bird sighting, slips away. Take it easy, fella. I got your baseball, didn't I? The con says. He nods at me and turns to Natalie. Bye, sweetie. He closes Natalie's fingers around the baseball and fast walks away. Do not call her sweetie, I shout. His pace is uneven, like one leg is shorter than the other. Then I see the number stamped on the back of his denim shirt, 105. All right, so those are chapters 23 through 26. Pretty interesting there. What you need to be prepared to answer today is to be able to tell the section where Moose is looking for the ball and Natalie's playing with her rocks from Natalie's point of view. So that means you need to speak like you are Natalie. Now, what we know about Natalie is, one, she speaks in third person. So she calls herself Natalie, and then she calls Moose by his name, Moose. She does not use like he or she or anything like that. Okay. She also speaks in really short, choppy sentences and thoughts. So that's what I want yours to look like. I don't want super long, drawn-out sentences because that's not how Natalie would speak. All right, so if you have any questions about this and how to do that and you're confused, then please let me know. So just remember talk in third person, as Natalie would, and talk in short